So it looks like a lot of the bros were actually right, and apparently studies are now showing that weight training is just as good for fat loss as cardio. Hey everybody, I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. This is one of those where, again, when this study came out this year, I'm kind of having to eat crow a little bit personally and say, okay, all right, I used to take the approach of the rest of the evidence-based community and say, we should maybe reduce training volume. There's no reason to think that on a cut, it's not like we can stimulate more muscle growth. Using it to burn calories isn't efficient, just do extra cardio. And a lot of bros do this, like, I do more volume and more reps when I want to cut. And the thing is, we can argue about that all we want, but it did seem to kind of work okay. Right, a lot of the bros got lean, got ripped. Plenty of contest bodybuilders did that. Now, plenty of them did lower volumes too and just ate less and got similar results. Now, another thing I want to say with this when I'm making this statement, look, guys, I'm just simply kind of following the evidence of what the evidence is out there suggesting. I am not anti-cardio. So let me be clear on that. I will be the first to say that exercise itself is not always the greatest way to lose body fat, first of all. Your diet really is king. And we do need to be clear on that. Yes, you can, in theory, out-train a bad diet. It's been demonstrated by some hybrid athletes, and endurance athletes in terms of getting lean. But it is extremely inefficient to try to do that. It really is. Diet will always be king. Okay, it will always be king of getting lean and losing body fat. So we do need to be clear on that. Creating a calorie deficit. The other thing there, again, I want to be clear. I am not saying cardio is useless. I'm not saying cardio is bad. I am not anti-cardio. In fact, I think cardio is good for you. So let me state that. Cardio, like most exercise and physical activity, is actually good for us. Okay? Exercise is good for you. So, I'll go so far as to say that any exercise that you really enjoy doing is probably a good exercise. Why? Because you'll do it consistently. So if you really like swimming, you truly enjoy swimming, that will actually make it a great form of exercise because you're going to do it more often. If you love dancing, if dancing really just brings joy to your life, and it's one of those things you're like, man, I could dance for hours every week. I just love doing it. Well, that will be a really good form of exercise for you because you'll actually do it. Okay? So we need to be clear on that. With a lot of these activities, when we're just trying to burn energy, stay active, burn calories, we can spend a lot of time arguing about what's best for different things. Of course, I think weight training, based upon the research, is the most beneficial overall. But exercise is still exercise. And at the end of the day, if you really enjoy doing it, it probably is a good form of exercise or cardio. Okay, and so again, you cannot discount that enjoyment factor. You cannot discount it. It is actually really relevant. Okay, and I think most of us realize that at this point. Again, any form of exercise that a person really likes doing is going to tend to be fairly successful. Okay, all right. So we need to get that out of the way. So if you enjoy certain types of cardio, by all means, use them, right? It only makes sense to do so. I mean, let's come over to anything that you enjoy doing. That doesn't even have to be exercise. Anything that is decently healthy for you in any way that you enjoy doing that's not harming your health is probably a good idea. Care whether it's painting or playing a musical instrument, right? Care. It's probably a good idea just because lower stress hormones, enjoyment. Okay. As long as it's not something that's harmful to you, things that you enjoy are oftentimes a good idea, right? When it comes to exercise, doubly so. But let's come over and let's talk about the fat loss side. So that being said, we could definitely make the case for, if you can recover from it, doing lots of weight training when you are trying to lose fat and cut makes sense. Now, am I saying that when you're bulking or trying to gain muscle, you should always do that? Not necessarily, because if you're just burning through calories and you're trying to make gains, it may not be stimulating any additional growth at a certain point. So for optimizing gains per se, I'm going to say we probably don't need to do this. You probably just need good programming. Hey, you just need good programming, and that volume needs to fit within your lifestyle. I mean, I have a lot of clients who they can only work out for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 3 times a week. Hey, that's what they can squeeze in. And I have clients who do that, who are big, strong, bench 300 plus, deadlift 500 plus, and that's how they train. But that's because of their lifestyle, their careers, kids, all that stuff. So we make that work. So that's also a factor, like one reason we talk a lot about efficiency with, how much exercise do we really need to gain most of our muscle or to make really good gains? It's less than people think. It really is. But when it does come to losing body fat, particularly if you got a big appetite, more activity is usually better. And again, we're seeing there's been some studies now showing, look, lifting weights just as good as cardio for fat loss. Well, okay, but it's also good for body composition side. So here's what I'm going to say. Does that mean we should come in and do tons of heavy squats? Probably not. So again, if a person is going to use lifting or resistance training to help with cutting, that's where all the really high rep pump work thrown in really does make sense. It's easier. You're not beating your joints and tendons up doing 20 plus rep sets on machines or smaller movements, but you may be burning through a lot more calories. Still might have a really good effect in terms of insulin sensitivity, glucose disposal, right? Neat thermic effect. It actually does. When you were looking at the data set, and it does work. Okay, I mean, we can make the case for it. I've been messing with a little bit of myself while cutting, doing just smaller pump stuff on all my off days or between workouts later in the day. Really high rep calves or delts or triceps or whatever, right? Lots of ab work. But again, research backing this. And again, I would say with the caveat, if you can recover from it. Now, if it's causing you to overtrain, and it very well will, if you're doing heavy sets to failure, especially on big movements, that could be a problem, You could probably get away with pull-ups and stuff with it if you're really good at them and can do high reps, which I can, so that helps. But barring stuff like that, yeah, you probably do need to do stuff that's just not going to beat your joints into the ground. And we can make the case for the higher reps because, again, you're probably burning through a bit more calories anyways, right? You're doing some really high rep stuff. It's not a bad idea if you're going to cut then. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.